All right, so today we're going to be talking about abstract and non objective. So go ahead and write this down like a chart, abstract on one side and non objective on the other. And then we're going to write what they mean. So, abstract is artwork that is a departure from real images. So something can be abstract but still recognizable, and we'll look at a few examples in a second. But abstract is departure from real imagery. The other term is called non objective. Non objective is like abstract, but for non objective, there is nothing that is of real imagery. So there's no recognizable imagery. Now, you know what squares and colors and shapes and lines are, but it's not really a picture of something. So let's do a little picture underneath both of these, and then let's look at some artwork, and we'll talk about what if you think it's abstract, some real imagery, but not quite real, or completely no imagery, which is non-objective. So I'm going to draw a rectangle in the middle. I'm going to do it brown. You don't have to do it brown. I'm going to leave a little bit of room on the left side and the bottom. And I'm going to color it in. Then underneath of my rectangle, I'm going to kind of like a little table, do two little squares colored in. At the top right, I'm going to do another square next to my rectangle and two little triangles. And I'm going to do a line on the other side. Now, what does that look like to you? It kind of looks like an animal. Not a realistic animal, but it's a departure from real imagery. I know it's supposed to represent an animal, but it's not quite a real animal. Now on this side, I'm going to use similar visual imagery, but instead I'm just going to do lines and shapes. Some overlap, some I'm going to color in, but I'm not drawing a picture of something, and you might think you see something, but it's really supposed to just be lines and shapes. Now there is a fine line, so let's go ahead and look at some abstract versus non-objective pieces before we do the next part. All right, this is a picture by Picasso. Do you think that this is abstract or non-objective? If you said abstract, you'd be right. There are still some recognizable things here. I see people, I see faces, but it doesn't look quite real. What about this by Jackson Pollock? Abstract or non-objective? I would call it non-objective, but it's kind of funny because his style of art is called abstract expressionism. What about this one by Vasily Kandinsky? Abstract or non-objective? Do you see anything recognizable in it? What about this one by Paul Klee? Do you see anything recognizable? Is it abstract or is it non-objective? I think I see something. How about this one by Mark Rothko? Abstract or non-objective? Lastly, how about this one, which we're going to imitate today by P. Mondrian, Abstract or Non-Objective. All right, on our second page, we're going to write Mondrian as our artist, and then we're going to put 3 dots underneath of it so that way we can write his rules. Usually, non-objective art has a set of rules that it goes by so that the artist has a style. Mondrian. And I'm going to help you with the rules of what Mondrian's artwork is about. So I'm going to underline his name as a title, leave 3 dots, and then we're going to squeeze a imitation picture of his at the bottom. Okay, you need a pencil or a black crayon or marker, and you also will need primary color crayons or markers. Okay, take your black, make a line across. On the left side, make a line down. These are touching the edge. Find the middle, make a line across. Top section, make a line that goes up and down. Bottom section, make a line that goes up and down, touching the lines. Make a line that goes across to the edge. Make a little line up and down in that section. It's okay if yours isn't positioned the exact same way. Just make sure they're touching. Make a line straight down in the middle again and connect them kind of like a ladder. Let's do one more. On that bottom section, connecting to the bottom. Your line should be horizontal and vertical. All right, let's take our primary colors and we're going to color in some of these boxes. Try to fill it in as evenly as you can. Only fill it in one color. Let's take another color of our primaries. It doesn't have to be red, it could be yellow or another blue box. But go ahead and color in another box. We're going to leave some of these boxes white. Making sure to color in all the way, not leaving any white gaps, and only having them be one color each. Let's do something a little different. Let's make a little box at the top of this right larger box. I still want it to be a rectangle though. Color it in all the way. I think I'll color in one more box. I'm going to get yellow again. Color in next to that. There's no rule against not coloring in next to. Now, let's talk about the rules I followed when I drew this Mondrian. First, I want to ask you about color. What colors did we use? We only used the primaries. That was one of our rules. And we also used black and white because the paper is white and we used a black marker. All right, for my next rule, let's talk about shape. What kinds of shapes did I make? Really, I just made rectangles or squares because of my lines and how I connected them. Speaking of lines, let's talk about direction. Where were my lines allowed to travel? They were only allowed to go vertical and horizontal. Now, this is the set of rules that Mondrian had for his artwork. Because of that, many of his works look similar and recognizable. His rules gave him his certain kind of style, and even though it's not a recognizable set of imagery, those images are unique to him because of his set of rules. All right, let's look at a few of his artworks and see how they follow the rules. Horizontal and vertical only. Primary is black and white only. But different arrangements, different combinations, and sometimes not all of the rules, but some of them. And that's how you know these are a P.A. Mondrian original artwork. So next time what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making our own non-objective artwork. We're going to come up with a set of rules for colors, shapes, and directions so that you can create your own style of non-objective art.